Good morning, everyone. In today's episode, we're going to be learning how to deploy the Idaho State Testing Browser for secure testing during ACT, SAT, AP testing, as well as many other things for the state. So let's get into it. So in my normal guides, I've got the download URL for the application. And so I've gone ahead and opened up PowerShell in my Intune Win app, and I've already downloaded it into my normal folder structure for repackaging. So I'm going to grab the location where I stored the MSI file. I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. I'm going to paste that into PowerShell. Now it's asking me to specify the setup file. I'm going to go back to that folder directory, right-click on the application, show more properties, click properties one more time. I'm going to copy the name of the application from here. Now, when you download yours, if you had an old copy of it or you're storing it in a location where this has been stored previously, it might put a parentheses 1 at the end. Make sure that you edit that out when you're doing the repackaging, as that can cause some issues in the future. So now that we've got the name, we're going to go back to our PowerShell prompt, paste that here. Since this is an MSI, we're going to specify .msi at the end. Now it needs to specify the output folder. And we've seen me do this before, but we're going to go to the scripts directory in TuneWin, and then go through the Idaho State Testing Browser folder that I created. I'm going to copy that in my clipboard, paste that in the output folder section, and it's going to ask to specify a catalog folder. Luckily, with this application, there is no catalog folder, so we're going to do a no, pressing enter. And now it's going to start compressing it and getting it ready to upload into Intune. Now, as always, the larger the application, the longer that this process takes. Awesome. Now that this has been repackaged, and now that we have our Intune Win, now we can go through the Intune console and get this deployed. Okay, now that we have the application ready for repackaging and deployment, let's go ahead and deploy the application through Intune. So we're going to add, select from the drop-down Windows App Win32, select down at the bottom, select App Package File, and we're going to point it to that Intune Win that we created. So we're going to go down to C, Scripts, Intune Win. Awesome, and then OK. Now we've got some information to just put in here. For now, I'm going to put in Idaho Secure Testing Browser, but on my website, I have all the information that's needed to fill all of this out properly in case you want to make the application available, as well as a logo file. So now that we've gone ahead and filled this in, the install and uninstall commands will be the typical install and uninstall commands for an MSI installer. Keep in mind, over the years, as the application is updated and changed, this MSI code will change as well. So just make sure that you're aware of that. We're going to keep all the defaults. We're going to go through. This is a 64-bit application, Windows 10 21H1. I find that when this is unpackaged and installed, it's about 125 megabytes in disk space. Now we're going to go to detection rules. We're going to add, select MSI, and as you can see, that same MSI product code that we saw in the MSI parameter is here as well. Now we've okayed it, gone through. There are no dependencies for this application. There's no supersedence needed at this time, but when you go through and update the application in our environment, say the next time Idaho does an update, we're going to go through and supersede this old version here. And now we've got our assignments. Now, I have testing groups that I always test with first, and in my environment, I call it application deployment testing. And as you can see, I have a few different application deployment testing rings, some based on model, some based on, just overall having a nice little testing group of machines. So I'm going to go ahead and deploy it to this group. And with all of the testing applications, I typically recommend hiding all toast notifications and setting it to device time zone. That way, in case you push this out in like an afternoon or something. That way it'll push out silently, be installed on the devices, and if you don't choose device time zone, it'll actually push out at UTC time, which 6 o'clock, your time zone and 6 o'clock UTC are two very different times. So this is super important. Also keep in mind you can specify this if you want to make sure it's available at a certain time or if there's a deadline for it to be installed. Just going to click OK here and then next, and we're going to go ahead and create. Now, with all applications as they're uploading, it's important to stay on this web page. And to monitor the upload status, you're going to come up here to the top right-hand corner, and here you can see the upload status. Now, once it turns green and shows that it's been successfully uploaded, you're good to navigate away from the page. The problem is, if you navigate from this before upload's finished, or if you go and start working on something else, what will happen is your browser tab will start to sleep, and if the upload doesn't complete by that time, you'll have to go through and do this all over again because it'll lose all the information when it refreshes the browser tab. So this is super, super important. Now, I've gone ahead and already deployed this before, so that everyone can see what that looks like. And I believe it's this one. Oh, chose the wrong one. And as we can see, I've successfully deployed this before. Now, I will have all of this information, as you can see here, available on my website so that you can copy and paste it, as well as the logo file so this is easier for you to deploy. I hope everybody had a great day, or everybody has a great day, and I hope this was helpful.